What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for September 11th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Before we get into today's episode, yes, it is the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. One of those things that still to this day, still pretty emotional and still remember exactly the feelings and what was going through my mind at that time. However, there is a positive on today. My son was born this day 8 years ago, and definitely is the ray of sunshine on an otherwise somber day. So definitely always a bright spot, even though still go back to those feelings and everything from 9/11. But definitely 8 years ago, things definitely changed, and the day has a new meaning for me. So happy birthday, buddy. 8 years. It's hard to believe that he's 8 years old today, but happy birthday, pal. All right, getting into today's episode. It was ugly. I mean, I don't think there's any other way to put it. It was ugly. But fortunately, ugly wins count just the same as the pretty ones. A win is a win. Doesn't matter how it looks. And I think there are some positives to take away from that. I mean, I don't think any facet of the game played well, with the exception of Jake Elliott. But there definitely are some things to improve on. Concerned somewhat with Hurts's fumbling. That's two big fumbles in back-to-back games going back to the Super Bowl last year. I do think that'll get cleaned up. But I feel... definitely, it's almost like they were trying not to lose that game pretty much the whole time, kind of waiting it out and knowing that they had a game on Thursday. It just never really seemed like they were in a flow on either side of the ball. So hopefully that'll get cleaned up in time for Thursday. But again, ugly wins count just the same as the pretty ones. Good day betting. We start the season off 2-0. Eagles did cover the spread. The 3.5, and barely by the skin of their teeth covered the 44.5 over. So we will take that 2-0 off and running. Did win my survivor pick, which sweated that one out. Had Washington. So overall, good day. So we'll see. But if you listen carefully in the distance, that sound you hear, that's just the Cowboys fans waking up, because wait for it this week. Trust me when I say we them boys, they will. You're going to hear it from all of them about how great they are, how great they looked, how they're winning the division and all that. But it's September. That's sort of like, I feel like if we were watching a Animal Planet sort of thing or some kind of History Channel, this is what happens with Dallas fans in September. So just, you can hear it off in the distance. It's going to get louder and louder as we get closer, and then peak maybe sometime mid to late October, and then gradually diminish as they go. I'm telling you, there are dumpster fire waiting to happen, and I think the best thing to get that dumpster fire to ignite, to be completely honest, was what happened yesterday or last night for them. So just wait for it. You'll be hearing it. Don't worry. Phils, though, oh, man, that another tough loss. They should have swept that series. I just, how do you blow a 3-game lead? Sir Anthony just... I don't know. There's no reason to lose that game. They had plenty of opportunities as well. They need now, I mean, they have 4 games coming up this week versus the Braves. 4 games in the next 3 days. So they need minimum to win 2 of them. Ideally 3. I mean, it should be a good measuring stick series, but man, they put themselves in a not so good position. They are still 2 games up on the Cubs for the first wild card spot, 4 in that. But man, that was just not a good loss yesterday. The Eagles won ugly, the Phillies lost ugly, and ugly losses, even though they count the same as pretty losses, that ugly losses sting more. So hopefully they're able to bounce back this week versus the Braves. Want more Phillies coverage? Check out our friends over at 2008 Phils, world's biggest email Phillies newsletter. currently offering this day in Philly sports history subscribers 75% off a subscription. Get you access to everything they have, including their archives, the 2008 World Series banner shirt. 2008 Phils will follow your Twitter account, and then you get access to autographs, tickets, other giveaways, all for $2 a month, $20 for the year. Definitely worth it. The link is in the description wherever you're watching or listening to this. But today we're going to go back to 2004, and on September 11th, 2004, the Phillies beat the Mets 11-9 in 13 innings. David Bell hit 2 homers, Pat Burrell, Todd Pratt, and Ryan Howard hit a pinch hit home run while he was being called up that year. But the big story was the Phillies used 10 pitchers that day, which was a team record for most pitchers used in a game. The Mets used 18, which tied the Major League record for pitchers used in a game. And I guess you'll have that in an 11-9 game. For those keeping score at home, the current record is 25 pitchers used in a game back in 2019 between the Rockies and Giants. Also on this day, setting a record that day, I should say, was Todd Pratt's home run. Was the 186th of the season for the Phils that year, setting their new team record for home runs. They'd finished with 215. That has since been broken. In 2009, the Phils hit 224, not 2,000. Sheesh. They have 188 so far this year. That is including yesterday's game. But on this day, it was the Phillies beating the Mets in 13 innings using a team record 10 pitchers. Combine that with the Mets' 8 pitchers, and they tied the Major League record, also setting the record for team home runs when Todd Pratt went deep in the second inning. All right, who wore it best, Philly? And number 15, like I said, it was one of the most, I think, underrated numbers. 3 of them are retired, 2 of them in the Hall of Fame. A third should be on the Hall of Fame. But it was Dick Allen coming away with 60% of the vote over Steve Van Buren and Hal Greer. I cannot say I don't disagree with this one. I think of the 3, Dick Allen might be the best. He also is the one that's not in the Hall of Fame that should be. So there you have it. Number 15, worn best by Dick Allen. You know what else you should wear best? Go to phillygoat.com. Get your Phillies gear, gearing up for the playoff run. Get your Eagles, Kelly Green stuff, gear up for Sixers, Flyers, whatever you want they have. Be sure to go use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. You want to celebrate the Eagles win, Dick Allen's win. Go do a little shopping before you start work today. phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. All right, today we are going with number 31. And currently there are 2 number 31s. Practice squad player for the Eagles, Mario Goodrich. And, of course, the Phillies closer, Craig Kimbrell. I can never say his name right. Some other notable 31s throughout Philly sports history. Al Harris, Jalen Mills, who won a Super Bowl. Byron Maxwell, who helped negotiate the trade that got the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Seth Curry, Hollis Thompson. Yes, that Hollis Thompson of the process. Eric Kratz, local guy, as well as Robert Person. Person also hit 2 home runs in a game. We talked about him a couple months ago. But today, there's really 3 legends in Philly sports that wore number 31. First is Pelly Lindbergh for the Flyers. Tragically, his life was cut short coming off a Vezina Trophy win, leading the Flyers to the Stanley Cup. Future was bright for him. Tragically died in a car accident. Then Wilbur Montgomery, who until Brandon Graham had strip sack of Tom Brady, had probably one of the, if not the most iconic play in Philly sports history when he went long in the 1980 NFC Championship game against the Cowboys. And then the Secretary of Defense himself, Gary Maddox of the Phillies, won a World Series with them in 1980. I used to hear my dad and my uncles talk about 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. The other 30% is covered by Gary Maddox. So now it is your turn. Who wore number 31 the best? Is it Pelly Lindbergh, Wilbert Montgomery, or Gary Maddox? Be sure to get your vote in. Be sure to go to phillygoat.com. Remember, ugly wins count just as much as the pretty ones. It's the ugly losses that sting more. So Phil's looking to, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it's going to be a tough series. As they get through this, though, they should be able to start setting and thinking about their rotation for the rest of the month. But buckle up. It's going to be a wild, bumpy ride. Eagles play on Thursday this week, so we got a short turnaround. We start the week 2-0 with our bets. Things are looking good on this day. Back in 2004, the Phils beat the Mets, which is always good. 13 innings using 10 pitchers, setting a team record. Happy birthday to my little man Thatcher, 8 years old, buddy. So proud of who you're becoming. So love you. Happy birthday to him. If you happen to see him, send him a shout out. Never forget, it is 9/11, so be sure to take some time today to reflect and just think about those that lost their lives on that day, and just the world changed that day. So this has been This Day in Philly Sports History. Do you hear them? They're getting louder, the Cowboys fans off in the distance. Go have yourselves a Monday. I'm Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.